What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be looking at the exhaust setup on the Porsche, and we're going to be looking at what parts are involved, what the current setup is, and where it's going to be going, as there's going to be lots of changes in the restoration process. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and do a cold startup right now. It is sprinkling outside. It's winter, so it's to be expected. But I hope the camera doesn't get too wet or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this around here. We'll go ahead and put the camera down. The brand of headers I'm currently running happens to be QSC USA. Now the inner diameter of the stock headers happens to be 36.75 millimeters. I don't have the inner diameter, they don't list it on their site. The outer diameter is 44.45 millimeters, so again, I don't know what gauge they're using for their stainless steel, but that puts you in the range of 41 to 42 millimeters inner diameter for the new headers, which is a pretty good increase. I actually was on the Rentless forums, and another member had it for sale. And the condition I got it in had this gaping hole right near the exits, but the muffler was free. He just said, "Hey, as long as you pay for shipping, you can have it." I took it to my exhaust shop, and I said, "Hey, is it fixable?" He says, "I can definitely make it work." Forgot where I got these. I just did a Google search of carbon fiber tips 997, and then they came up, kind of just mocked up there, and the muffler in place. You can see how they do not line up at all. They do have to be chopped up and repiped. Yeah, the QSC headers into some custom piping, ending up in a GT3 RS muffler. Then they come into I believe a 2-inch pipe here, but I had my exhaust shop chop it off a little bit sooner, so it's actually 2.5 inches instead of it funneling it down to 2. Got the O2 sensor in here. So yeah, there's no cats on it currently, but I do plan on putting some MagnaFlow Universal, I believe it's like a 200 cell cat on each side, 175, 200 count, something like that, right in this area right here. Again, I'm going to chop this off at an angle. I might extend it and push it back a little bit further this way, because here, I'll zoom in a little bit here. You can see it's very close to the valve covers and the ignition cables, and I don't like that. The heat, there's no heat shields. I'll probably get one to add in, probably custom. But another issue of concern, that makes it look really big, but the distance here is literally just like a hand away from the rear shocks and coilovers there. So again, we can't push it out too much without the heat making an impact on I think these are monotubes, but we don't want to make a difference there or make a bad negative impact on there. We don't want a lot of heat there. So again, we might push them out, we might not, depending on how the cats fit and their size. They're pretty small, which is nice. So this pipe actually splits off in 2.5 inch here, 1.25 here, I believe, something like that. It's supposed to actually be much bigger, this pipe here, but my exhaust guy again did not have the pipe in, and instead he flared it out at the end up here to make it fit. I wish he just would have waited. Maybe it's me, I don't remember, whatever. But they go ahead and pair off, or they split there, and they go into a GT3 RS from a 997. center exhaust, center muffler there, with some carbon tips that I picked up, and sounds pretty good, pretty raspy, but it is very loud, really loud. You can see the carbon tips, they're fading, and the clear coat is coming off. They look nasty as hell. Just from the top there though, if you look from the bottom, clean those off real quick, you can kind of see carbon in there. But for anyone asking about this exhaust, it is very loud. Too loud, in my opinion, for daily driving. That's why I'm putting cats back on it. One, to get emission legal in California here, and two, to kind of help quiet it down. Or if you want to tone it down a bit, I would advise not piping it into the bottom port here, because if you've seen it now, I will attach a picture of how it looks inside the muffler, but it literally comes straight out. There's no muffling or no difference in piping here to there, just literally straight out. There's about a 3-inch gap the minute it enters the muffler that would allow the flow to kind of circulate in there, but under velocity, it's literally just going to go shoot straight through and come out. The top pipe up here is the inlet that will circulate inside the whole muffler. It'll actually make a difference, and then it will go ahead and come back in through this little gap in there. And again, you'll understand when I show you the picture. Then it comes out the center port there. But like I said, it's a super loud exhaust. It sounds nice, yeah, it sounds great, but it's way too loud. That's why I'm going to go ahead and put the cats on, and I'm probably going to also port it to the very top one here and just close this off because it's just too loud.